Hello everyone, I am Tim with Golf Cart Garage. We're back once again with our weekly Q&A session where we go over some golf cart related questions that we acquire all week long at Golf Cart Garage. We come here every week, we come here every Thursday, and we are live. We are live right now on YouTube and Facebook, and we are every Thursday at noon Central Time. So if you are seeing this and it's 12 o'clock noon, you're seeing me live. And let's see, we're gonna do a short one today. We're changing things up a little bit this week. We're gonna actually start doing two sessions. We're gonna do two live videos. So this is gonna be a short video where we're gonna answer, I don't know, 8 or 9 regular questions, maybe interact with some live chatters. And then we're gonna immediately do another one after this is over, after we end this session. So there will be 2 videos today. And they're gonna be short. So let me just check real quick for if anybody's in the live chat already. Looks like we're good there. Like I said, I am Tim. I'm part of the Gearheads On Demand service that we offer at Golf Cart Garage. Gearheads On Demand is a service that we offer where you can actually schedule a phone call with me if you need to ask some questions of somebody who may have been there before, or may have seen what, or may know a little bit something about what your issue is, may be able to help you, may be able to save you some money. Just click on the link in the description if you're interested in that service, and that will take you to the scheduling page where you can schedule a phone call with me, or you can actually schedule a video session with me where I will send you a link to your phone at whatever time you picked, and then you just click the link and I can see through your camera and see what you're pointing at. Sometimes that might help. It's not always necessary. Sometimes that may help. All right, we only have a few questions to go over today before we end this video, so let's go ahead and get started since the garage is now open. Let's see, question 1. I have an E-Z-GO electric golf cart. Older model uses 6-volt batteries. The cart will not go forward or back. That switch is supposedly good. If the voltage is reading less than 36 volts, could the batteries be the problem? Well, yes, that's why I always say I always try to eliminate the batteries as being a problem on any electric golf cart, no matter what the symptom is. Pretty much, I mean, it's almost, that's the first thing that I need to do is eliminate the batteries as being the problem. And when you say it's less than 36 volt, my question would be, well, how much less? I mean, if it's too much less, then yeah, that's definitely going to be your problem. It is causing it not to go forward and reverse. But if it's just a little less, you still should have some type of activity when you hit the gas pedal or the accelerator pedal. So my question would just be, how much less than 36 volts are we talking about? But it could be the problem, yes. Number 2. I have a 2014 E-Z-GO TXT gas. I've replaced the carburetor, fuel pump, and filter, air filter, spark plug, fuel filter, and it runs fine at low speed. But when you go wide open for about 1/8 mile, it acts like it's running out of gas. But if you sit there for 5 minutes, you can go that far again. Any help would be appreciated. It sounds like to me that it's very possible that you could have something shutting down after the cart warms up, after it gets hot, and it doesn't get hot enough unless you go wide open, like you were saying. You know, so it very well could be that I may have spoken to this person this week, because I sort of remember having this conversation with someone this week, and I think we determined that it was the igniter could possibly be shutting down after it gets hot and the cart's losing spark rather than losing fuel or something. It's losing spark. So I believe that's where what we had decided. I don't know if the customer, ordered the igniter and fixed the problem or not. I haven't heard back on that one, but that would be where I would be leaning toward on that one. Let's see. We'll come back to number 3. Let me just check and see if I got anybody in the live chat. Yeah, I do. I've got James Brown III. What's up, James Brown? How can I exchange my old starter generator for another one or a refund? Well, you contact Golf Cart Garage and talk to any of the operators, and they can help you with that. There's no doubt about it. David Klein. What's up, David Klein? Says, hey, Tim. What's up, David? Let's see. Where was we at? Number 3, okay. 91 Club Car DS 48 volt. Accelerator wiper. Response is spotty. Sometimes stops. New controller. New rebuilt motor. Did not cure the problem. A 91 Club Car DS 48 volt. That's the first red flag. Not necessarily a red flag. I don't know if Club Car had 48 volt cars in 91. So if it is a 48 volt car, is it been modified to be 48 volts? I'd have several questions. I need to get that cleared up first, because I don't think Club Car made 48 volt cars in 91. But I'd need to get that part cleared up first to see what we're talking about there. Number 4. How do you determine if the controller is not functioning? Well, there are, depending on the electrical system of the golf cart, there's different tests and everything, to different complicated tests that I'm not going to get into right now. But I can tell you, most of the time in a golf cart shop, most of the time what they do is they eliminate everything else, and then what's left is the controller. There's not that many components in a golf cart. There's not a good easy bench test, or there's not a bench test for a controller. It has to be under power and everything hooked up. You can eliminate the solenoid. You know, if the solenoid's clicking, that means you're getting power to the controller. If the car's not moving, then it's either there's only 2 things behind the solenoid, and that's the controller and the motor. So then you go eliminate the motor. You eliminate the motor by doing the easy motor test, where you jumper 2 of the cables and put 12 volts to the motor. And if the motor spins, it's generally good. That's generally the test you do that. Well, you just eliminated everything in front of the controller and eliminated behind the controller. So the only thing left is the controller. That's the way that it's most of the time that it's done. But like I said, you can put a voltmeter in specific areas and test the output of the controller, depending on which electrical system you have. It's a little bit different test. Let's see. I'm going to be on number 5 after that. Let's go over here and see. You got Herb Caldwell on YouTube, says howdy. What's up, Herb Caldwell? Good to have you. Number 5. This is from Nathaniel. Hello, I would like to know if it would be possible to build a golf cart. When I say build, I mean 100% custom, as they would say. Start from the bottom, move to the top. Bottom being nothing but parts and a dream to a working, moving golf cart. Is this a possibility, or am I way over my head? This is definitely a possibility. Many people have done that. Now, I could help you with that. I would have some suggestions, and I could even help you, give you some advice on that. So if you're interested in talking to me about that as a project, click the link in the description and schedule a call with me, and we can talk about that. But you need to decide if you're going to use a golf cart frame, or you're going to do it in some other type of frame. And depending on what frame you get, it would change my opinion on which electrical system that you might want to go with. Like if you got a Club Car DS frame, you could get a whole IQ electrical system and put in there. If you got an E-Z-GO TXT frame, that would be another thing. It would be easier to go with the TXT setup. If you got a Marathon frame, that would be easy. But if you were going to start with a frame that wasn't a golf cart frame, if you're just going to start with some type of vehicle frame, then I would have a suggestion on that. I would go with a Marathon wiring diagram, because a Marathon uses a very simple wiring diagram. A controller Marathon, not the resistor type, but a controller Marathon car, E-Z-GO Marathon. Get a hold of a wiring diagram for an E-Z-GO Marathon and look at that wiring diagram. It's a very simple wiring diagram. You can make every one of the wires yourself. Uses a very simple 0 to 5K potentiometer. It does use a controller, but it's a series controller. It's a series system, no regenerative braking or anything like that. It just depends on how fancy you want to go with this vehicle, and if it is going to be based off of a golf cart frame or not. So there's lots of choices, but it is definitely possible for you to do. Number 6. Red light showing on Lester Summit 2 series. Hi guys, suddenly the red light on the charger is lit. Batteries are about 5 years old. Alright, that's first red flag. Charger a little over 2 years old. Used as normal after round plug charged in. Yellow light flashed as usual. Next morning red light was on. Batteries were fully charged. Well, that red light is definitely a fault code that the charger sensed while charging the car. So it would be good to eliminate the charger as having a problem by putting it on someone else's car. But you did say that your batteries are 5 years old, so that would not be unusual at all for it to have sensed a problem. It might be time for a new set of batteries, and the only way I would know that is I would like to get some battery readings from you. Like, I'd like to get the battery readings while the car is just sitting there, and then I'd like some on-charge battery readings while after the charger's been run for a while, and just to see if your voltage is rising to the correct range or not. Let's see. Just checking. Let's see. Herb Caldwell is asking a question on YouTube. 36 volt TXT forward and reverse switch on the dash reverse does not work after running the cart for a little bit. Always works when I first use it. Okay, so if you have a 36 volt TXT and your forward and reverse switch is on the dash, that means you have an EasyGo PDS cart. That's a precision drive system, electrical system in that cart. And my question would be, is this a lifted cart? Because I can tell you this, PDS carts don't really, at least 36 volt PDS carts, they don't really like to be lifted because it puts a little bit more of a strain on the electrical system. And if you are running a completely stock controller, then it's very possible that your controller is getting hot and shutting down on you. That's why it always works when you first use it. And then the controller gets hot and it completely shuts down. So tell me in the chat, I'll come back to you here in a minute. Tell me in the chat, Herb, if your cart is lifted or not. Okay, we are on number 7. Battery light flashes after playing around 9 holes and cart sputters frequently. Check batteries as they show 8.5 each. 6 8-volt batteries. Seems like a short or something. Could it be the solenoid? Alright, you see that word sputter? That brings up a red flag right there. Anytime, and I may have said this before, but anytime a customer would come to my shop and they would describe the symptom of their cart as a shudder or a sputter, most of the time, and we're talking about electric, I'm talking about electric carts. If they would describe it like a shake or shudder, or it would sputter or take off, most of the time it was a battery related issue. Now when I say battery related, I don't necessarily mean that you got a bad battery. Battery related could be any of the cables that are connecting your 6 batteries together. You could have a loose connection on any of those cables, or one of the big power cables leaving the batteries, like to the forward and reverse switch, wherever your big cables go on your particular electrical system. You could have a battery that's, even though you did state, that your voltage was there, you could have a battery that's dropping out under load. Once you try to take off, it could be dropping out. That can cause a sputter or a shudder. So that's why I've talked about this before. That's why I talk about doing a type of load test on your battery, like putting a voltmeter, getting some alligator clip leads for your voltmeter and clipping it to one battery, bringing the voltmeter up in the seat with you and watching your voltage as you drive the cart. But you're just watching that voltage on that one battery, and see if you find, and then go to the next battery, do the same thing, and see if you notice one of those batteries dropping down way more than the others. That can cause a sputter or a shudder. Okay, let's see, that was number 7 there that we did. Okay, so now we're going to do, we got number 8, but let me see. Okay, Herb says his cart is not lifted. All right, I have seen PDS, 36 volt PDS carts still go into thermal shutdown even when they're not lifted. Just lifted makes it even worse. So if I'm understanding your symptom correctly, then that's what it sounds like to me. You got to understand, I'm assuming that your batteries are fine, because that thermal shutdown feels exactly like dead batteries. Let's see. All right. We'll go to number 8, and this is going to be the last regularly scheduled question, is number 8. But like I said, we're splitting the video this week, so I will be ending this session after number 8, and then we're going to start another session. My 2011 Club Car Precedent 48 volt extended cab suddenly has gotten where when I depress the electric accelerator, it sometimes does nothing, sometimes does a little bit, and other times if I keep pushing it down to the floor, it'll go. So what gives? Well, that sounds kind of familiar. That's I've seen a M-core make that symptom. A lot of times people start having trouble in their acceleration, or it's intermittent, and they just step on the gas a whole bunch of times, and it has been known to when you press on the accelerator pedal on an electric club car that uses the M-core as a potentiometer, what you're doing is you're twisting a rod inside the M-core, which is it's going across contacts in there somewhere. It's going across some electrical contacts, and those M-core is supposed to be a completely sealed system to not allow anything to get inside there, but I can tell you this, they will get moisture in them just from condensation or something, and so they'll get on the contacts get dirty, and sometimes you just mash the accelerator pedal over and over again, and it will help clean those contacts off. So that could be what's happening. That's what it would sound like to me. It is what could be happening with you. Let's see here. That was the last scheduled question for today, because we're trying out some new stuff. Let me make sure I got everybody on YouTube. Yep, that's going to be it. Let's see. Don't forget to go to golfcartgarage.com. Look for the logo of Extreme Golf Cart Makeover Season 2. The winners have been announced, and if you'd like to go see the video of the video's been released, the winners have been announced. It's on YouTube. The video is up on YouTube. So go to YouTube and go to Golf Cart Garage and subscribe to Golf Cart Garage if you haven't already on YouTube. And check out Dave's video where he talks to the winners of the Extreme Golf Cart Makeover Season 2. Don't forget, I'm Tim with Gearheads On Demand service at Golf Cart Garage. You can schedule, Gearheads On Demand is where you can schedule an appointment with me. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description. And we will end this episode 49, but we're going to start a new episode here in a few minutes. We'll be starting episode 50 here in a few minutes. Let me make sure I don't miss anything over here. Let's see. Herb Caldwell says his batteries are in great shape. Okay, well, if your batteries are good and your cart's still shutting down for no reason like that, I would suspect the controller, since I know what cart you have, since you have a PDS. That's where I would suspect. If there's nothing obvious, if you don't see anything obvious. Obviously check for cables, and also check for heat. Like when it shuts down, just start grabbing your cables. Grab your cables with your hands and see if you can find anything that's getting unusually hot. And if you would like, take the cover off of your controller and check it for getting hot too. So, because that may answer your question. You may feel a lot of heat inside there if you take that cover off. That's what I would do. Let's see. Yep, that looks like it's going to be about it. Well, we're going to end this session. This is episode 49. We come here every week, and at this time we're going to start shooting 2 videos every week. So I'll be back here in a few minutes. The garage is now closed.